Let's talk about the British operational ration pack. Unlike the U.S. Army, which generally issues an MRE, which is intended for one meal for one soldier, the operational ration pack is instead intended to provide one soldier all of his food requirements for a 24-hour period. Comes basic cardboard box. And interestingly, the box lists the menu, but it doesn't list the menu number, but doesn't list what exactly that menu consists of. I had looked this one up and I had forgotten what was on the menu. It has instructions for burn pit procedures in operating areas, has burns first aid information, and I suppose I should have shown this before I opened it. It even has a zero target for your rifle. Pop it open, let's take a look and see what's inside here. The British tend to use an awful lot of off-the-shelf foodstuffs. Set the tray aside for a minute. We'll come back to that later. Paloma Classic Super Soft Tissues. This would appear to be some sort of biscuit. Biscuits brown, what you and I would call cookies. A large beverage and accessory pack. Comes with a handy Ziploc type bag to put extra meal parts in. Has an antibacterial wipe. We'll go over the contents of that in a little bit. One of the things you'll see in more and more modern ration packs is an increased emphasis on beverages. A lot more drinks than you would see in the older 1980s era USMRE type thing. Here we have Shop and Sold's hot chocolate flavored drink type regular. Lemon flavored beverage powder. Electrolyte drink powder, exotic type, which one presumes is going to be somewhere along a fruit punch. Cheddar cheese flavored spread. Tropical beverage powder. And black currant beverage powder. So a lot of beverages, and we're not done. I'm sure there's more beverages in there. Boiled sweets, what we in the U.S. would call a hard candy. The ever popular Tabasco, mini Tabasco, very similar found in the USMRE. Cereal bars, part of the breakfast. Fruit explosion. What on earth? Mixed fruit puree. Nice little can of cashews. Now we get to the main entrees, if you will. The main retort pouches holding, missed something. Squidge, which is apparently some type of squeezy chocolate or hazelnut flavored food topping. We Americans don't normally eat that. Chicken tomato sauce pasta. Chicken, water, tomato paste, wheat, egg, all kinds of good stuff. That would be one of the main meals. Bean and pasta salad. Butter bean and kidney beans with pasta and a tomato chili sauce. Tuna in light mayonnaise. Rice pudding. Thick. And finally, a cinnamon bun. Interestingly, in all the MOD ration packs, they have a reader survey. How much did you like each individual menu item? And it also enters you in drawing for a chance to win prizes. Taking a look in the accessory pouch. First off, big spoon, spork, if you will. That is a deep, wide spoon. Alcohol-free wipes. Two of them. It's a British ration, so you know there's going to be tea. Nescafe instant coffee. V6 dental chewing gum. Interestingly, two different types of instant coffee. Water purification tablets. More V6 gum. Fire starting matches and a striker. And what is this? Looks like this looks like a coffee whitener. Yes, it is. Coffee creamer. 1, 2, 3, 4 packs of coffee creamer. And 1, 2, 3, 4 goodly sized sugars. They're quite substantial. A little bit bigger than what you would find in an American restaurant on the table. I think for our starters, I think we're going to have dinner tonight consisting of the chicken tomato sauce pasta, and we'll have a tropical drink, and we'll have the fruit explosion. As a side, I think we're going to have original, is one of these decaf? It does not appear so. I think we're going to have tea and sugar and 1 creamer. And the rest we're going to put back in the Ziploc like it was intended to be used, for storage for future use. Let's start with the tea. It says tear here. I like a good bit of sugar in my tea. 2 sugars might actually be too much. I think we're only going to go with 1. This is a very small cup. And 1 creamer. And many thanks to Mrs. Lieutenant Rusty for this genuine GI issue I guess it's Bakelite, mess hall coffee cup of the sort that I grew up seeing in the Navy mess hall. Unfortunately, don't have the full place setting with the compartmented tray and everything, but we do what we can. A little hot water. And we're going to let the tea steep for a bit. In the meantime, our tropical fruit drink. Set that aside. And the instructions. Said to use 370 milliliters, 375 milliliters of cold water. I don't think my canteen cup is quite that large. And interestingly, this bag does not appear to have a notch to make it easier to open. If it does, it's on the wrong end. There we go, indeed at the wrong end of the pack. So this is going to be messy. Nope, don't want that one. Well, it dissolved readily enough, so that's a good sign. That tastes surprisingly boring for a lemon-flavored beverage. Yeah. Not bad. It's just not any good. Still. Need to keep hydrated. Stir up our tea here a little bit. I think that's steeped sufficiently. Not bad, not bad cup of tea. Probably could have gone with one more sugar, but I think we'll be okay. Interesting thing about British rations, unlike the American rations, they do not come with the flameless ration heater, so you have to heat them the old-fashioned way by putting them in boiling water and then pulling them out and then plating them. All right, we have our chicken tomato sauce pasta, 300 grams. We boiled it for about 5 minutes, drained off water, pulled the pouch out of the pot. Let's put it on the tray, see how it looks. Doesn't look bad at all. Question is, how does it taste? Incidentally, this is my dinner tonight because I didn't feel like cooking. That's pretty good. A lot more flavorful use of spices than you would typically find in an American ration. chicken in that one. Not a whole lot of chicken in this apparently, but what there is seems reasonably decent consistency. Not bad, not bad. If you have an easy way of heating it, for instance, if you're in a patrol base or something like that, or where you would have access to a Tommy stove or a coke stove of some sort, a good hot meal like this would go over quite well. And it's a fairly good size entree. Now, I lead a rather sedentary lifestyle now, but for a soldier on operations, they're going to need all the calories they can get. So just the entree alone wouldn't be enough to sustain them. Particularly in cold weather, your body spends so many calories just keeping you warm. And add to that the consumption of calories to perform military duties. You can see why you would need to eat pretty much everything in the ration to keep from losing weight. And actually, there's a good bit more chicken in here than I first realized. And there looks to be, so the tomato sauce, the pasta, the chicken, the herbs. There's also some beans of some sort in here. And it looks like the chicken is dark meat, not white meat, but can't really tell. Hard to say. It has a texture of chicken breast, but can't really be sure. And I've eaten about 2/3 of this. I'm already getting full. Good stuff. Good. One of the things, Britain has a large minority population in its armed forces, so they try to make sure that a goodly number of their menus and their ration packs are acceptable to Muslims. And in the U.S. Army, we're actually similarly accommodating. There are, in addition to about half the menus in the Army being vegetarian now, there are actually halal and kosher MREs available. Having said that, virtually no one gets them because they don't realize that they can demand them. And most supply officers don't even realize they're available. Your unit supply officer has to order MREs from the Defense Logistics Agency, and you just order MREs and you get normal MREs. not a lot of supply officers go to all the trouble of finding out all the different varieties and types of combat foodstuffs that are available. For instance, I mentioned the first strike ration, and several people on active duty military told me they've never seen one. All right, I don't think we're going to get that last bit. Without making a mess. All in all, very good, very palatable. Look forward to seeing what the other meals in this particular ration taste like. I'm a little dubious about the thought of the rice pudding. I'm not a big rice pudding fan. But the rest of the entrees and most of the sides look eminently palatable. All right. This is apple kiwi passion. Mixed fruit puree. Puree. Pop the top. Not bad. You can taste this. There's something in there. The kiwi, I think, kind of stands out. Kiwi and passion fruit. The apple's just a hint of taste. It's almost like an applesauce consistency, not quite as mealy as applesauce. But probably a pretty good way of delivering vitamin C. And that's a nifty little pack that would easily fit into a pocket. You could just, when you're divvying up your ration, you could just have that with you as a snack. All right, so that was our first foray into reviewing a ration. We will finish with this ration before we move on to another type. We will eventually, and we do have a wide selection of rations to talk about here. The British, of course, one of our biggest allies, fairly easy rations to get a hold of. We're going to look at four U.S. rations: a commercially available meal ready to eat, a military MRE, the humanitarian daily ration, and the first strike ration that we mentioned before. We're going to take a look at a Russian ration. We're going to take a look at a French 24-hour ration. We're going to take a look at a Canadian ration. What was the other? There's a second French ration, which is a single individual meal. And finally, we'll take a historical throwback and take a look at a reproduction of the World War II U.S. Army K ration. Bon appetit.